There exists a continent that belongs to no nation. A wilderness where humans are visitors, never residents. A frozen desert larger than Europe, where temperatures plunge to -90 degrees Celsius and winds scream at 300 kilometers per hour. This is the last place on Earth discovered by humans. The final frontier of exploration. The ultimate test of human endurance against nature's fury. Welcome to Antarctica. The white continent. The bottom of the world, the end of everything. Here, 90% of Earth's ice lies frozen in sheets up to 5 kilometers thick. Here, the coldest temperature ever recorded was measured, -89.2 degrees at Vostok Station. Here, the driest desert on Earth receives less precipitation than the Sahara, yet contains 70% of the world's fresh water locked in ice. Crossing the Drake, the most dangerous passage. Before you experience Antarctica, you must survive the Drake Passage. This 600-kilometer stretch of water between South America's Cape Horn and Antarctica's South Shetland Islands is the roughest ocean crossing on Earth. Here, the Atlantic, Pacific, and Southern Oceans converge with no land to slow them. The Antarctic Circumpolar Current, the world's largest ocean current, funnels through the Drake, creating waves that can reach 15 meters high. Ships pitch and roll with stomach-churning violence. Even experienced sailors turn green. The crossing takes 2 days under good conditions, longer in storms. Not green hills or beaches, but mountains rising directly from the sea. Their peaks white against gray sky, their slopes impossibly steep. These are the South Shetland Islands, Antarctica's northern sentries. The ship slows, navigating between ice floes, adjusting course as conditions dictate. You've arrived at the end of the world. First landing. The Zodiac boat bounces across choppy water, carrying you from ship to shore. Regulations prohibit permanent structures for tourism, so every landing is made via these inflatable boats. Piloted by expedition staff who navigate between ice chunks and breaking waves. As the Zodiac approaches shore, you notice the smell first. It's pungent, overwhelming. Penguin guano accumulated over centuries. This is your first lesson about Antarctica. It's not sterile. It's not pristine. Where life exists, it exists abundantly, messily, aromatically. The landing is ungainly. But the expedition schedule demands movement. There are more landings, more sights, more wonders to witness. Antarctica is generous with its beauty, but unforgiving of wasted time. Wildlife encounters. Antarctica seems barren, but this is illusion. The continent supports minimal terrestrial life. But the surrounding waters teem with abundance. Penguins, seals, and whales congregate in concentrations found nowhere else on Earth. The penguin colonies are overwhelming. Thousands of Gen 2 penguins crowd hillsides, their white bellies bright against dark rock. But the true giants are the emperor penguins, found further south, breeding on sea ice during the brutal Antarctic winter. These meter-tall birds, standing stoically through the darkest, coldest winter on Earth, exemplify survival against impossible odds. Seals appear unexpectedly. Weddell seal lounges on ice, so fat and relaxed it seems boneless. These seals can dive to 600 meters, holding their breath for over an hour. But on the surface, they're supremely lazy. Conserving energy between hunting expeditions. Leopard seals are different. These apex predators, 3 meters long and 400 kilograms of muscle and teeth, hunt penguins with terrifying efficiency. Then the whales appear. A blow in the distance, a vertical spout of mist. Then another. Humpback whales are feeding, diving deep, surfacing with mouths full of krill. These giants travel from tropical breeding grounds to Antarctic feeding grounds annually, covering thousands of kilometers. Orcas patrol in pods, their dorsal fins cutting water like knives. These are the Antarctic's ultimate predators. Hunting seals, penguins, even other whales. Watching orcas hunt is witnessing intelligence in action. Coordinated attacks, strategic planning, teaching younger pod members. The wildlife encounters are constant, overwhelming, humbling. They're not visiting Antarctica. This is their home. We're the visitors. The ice itself. Antarctica's true marvel isn't the wildlife. It's the ice. 90% of the world's ice, 2/3 of Earth's fresh water, locked in frozen sheets that average 2 kilometers thick. The ice sheet isn't uniform. It's divided into East Antarctica and West Antarctica, separated by the Transantarctic Mountains. East Antarctica's ice sheet is ancient, stable, up to 5 kilometers thick in places. It's been there for millions of years, accumulating snowfall that compresses into ice under its own weight. West Antarctica's ice sheet is younger, thinner, less stable. Much of it rests on bedrock below sea level, making it vulnerable to warming ocean waters. This is where scientists focus concern. If West Antarctic ice sheets collapse, global sea levels rise by meters, flooding coastal cities worldwide. But visitors experience ice not through statistics, but through direct encounter. Glaciers calve into the sea, producing icebergs that drift on currents for years. Some are small, car-sized chunks. Others are tabular bergs, flat-topped ice islands that can be hundreds of kilometers across. In 2017, an iceberg called A68 calved from the Larsen Sea ice shelf. It measured 5,800 square kilometers, nearly as large as Delaware. This ice is a library of climate history, preserving atmospheric samples in air bubbles, recording temperature through isotope ratios, documenting volcanic eruptions through ash layers. Scientists drill ice cores to read this library, extracting cylinders of ice that span hundreds of thousands of years. These cores reveal past climate changes, showing how quickly Earth's climate can shift. How fragile the balance is, how unprecedented current warming is. The ice is teacher and warning. It shows us the past, it shows us the present, it shows us the future we're creating through our choices. The research stations. McMurdo, Antarctica's metropolis. McMurdo Station on Ross Island is Antarctica's largest settlement. Over 1,000 people work here during summer, conducting research, maintaining infrastructure, supporting field operations. This is as close to a town as Antarctica gets. Complete with dormitories, cafeterias, laboratories, fire station, even a general store and bar. McMurdo was established by the United States in 1955 as a logistics hub for the South Pole Station. It's grown into a small industrial complex, fuel storage tanks, vehicle maintenance facilities, helicopter hangars, research laboratories, living quarters. The aesthetic is functional rather than beautiful. Modular buildings painted bright colors stand in rows. Dirt roads connect facilities. The landscape is volcanic rock and dirt, rare ice-free ground in Antarctica. Mount Erebus, the southernmost active volcano on Earth, looms over the station, occasionally producing steam and ash. Life at McMurdo is structured. Work schedules are rigorous. Free time is precious. Social life revolves around the galley. Communal dining area where everyone from scientists to maintenance workers gather. The Galley Talker is the community information board, posting announcements, upcoming events, weather updates. The station has environmental impacts, waste disposal, fuel storage, infrastructure footprints. Efforts are made to minimize impacts, but the reality is that thousands of people require resources, generate waste, and alter landscapes. South Pole Station. The Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station sits at 90 degrees south. The geographic South Pole, the axis around which Earth rotates. This is the bottom of the world in the most literal sense. Reaching the South Pole requires flying from McMurdo, weather permitting. The flight crosses the Transantarctic Mountains, revealing glaciers that flow between peaks like frozen rivers. Then the plateau, flat white extending to every horizon, the most featureless landscape on Earth. The station sits on ice that's moving. The entire Antarctic ice sheet flows slowly toward the coast. The South Pole Station moves about 10 meters per year, carried by ice flow. A ceremonial pole marks the geographic South Pole, relocated annually to account for ice movement. The station itself is an engineering marvel, a structure elevated on stilts that can be raised as snow accumulates beneath. design prevents the fate of the previous station, which was gradually buried by blowing snow and eventually had to be abandoned. Life at the South Pole is extreme even by Antarctic standards. The altitude, 9,300 feet, combined with cold, dense air creates effective altitude of 10,500 feet. Newcomers experience altitude sickness, headaches, nausea, shortness of breath. Above you, the atmosphere is thin, the sky deep purple even at midday. You're as far from anywhere as humans can get while remaining on Earth's surface. This is the ultimate expression of the end of the world. Research and science. Antarctica isn't just beautiful. It's scientifically invaluable. Research conducted here advances understanding of climate, astronomy, geology, biology, and physics. Ice core research extracts climate history from ancient ice. Cores drilled from deep ice sheets preserve atmospheric samples dating back 800,000 years. By analyzing these samples, scientists reconstruct past temperatures atmospheric composition, volcanic activity, and even cosmic dust. This research has revealed critical findings. Earth's climate has fluctuated dramatically over geological time, with ice ages alternating with warmer periods. But current carbon dioxide levels exceed any recorded in ice cores. The warming we're experiencing is unprecedented in both speed and cause. Astronomy benefits from Antarctic conditions. The pole's high altitude, dry air, and months of darkness create ideal observing conditions. The very environment scientists study is threatening the infrastructure needed to study it. Hidden histories. Antarctica has human history. Though brief compared to other continents. Explorers began reaching Antarctic waters in the early 1800s. The first confirmed landing was in 1821. Though earlier undocumented landings may have occurred. The heroic age of Antarctic exploration, from roughly 1897 to 1922, saw legendary expeditions race to the South Pole and conduct the first systematic scientific studies. These expeditions faced unimaginable hardships: wooden ships crushed by ice, men hauling sledges across frozen wastes, scurvy and frostbite, starvation and death. Ernest Shackleton's endurance expedition is the most famous survival story. When his ship was crushed by pack ice, Shackleton led his crew on a months-long ordeal across ice and sea. Eventually reaching South Georgia Island in a lifeboat. Remarkably, all crew members survived, a testament to Shackleton's leadership. Research stations abandoned and reclaimed by ice. Each layer of human activity adds to the continent's story, though human presence remains marginal compared to the ice's eternal dominance. Landscapes of ice, the peninsula. The Antarctic Peninsula extends north toward South America, making it the most accessible part of the continent. This is where most tourists visit. Experiencing Antarctica's most dramatic scenery and densest wildlife concentrations. The peninsula's landscape is spectacular. Mountains rise directly from the sea. Their slopes too steep for snow accumulation, except in gullies and plateaus. Glaciers cascade between peaks, calving icebergs into channels and bays. The coastline is a maze of islands, channels, and inlets, creating protected waters where navigation is possible. Paradise Bay lives up to its name. Surrounded by mountains and glaciers, the bay offers anchorage in calm waters with views of stunning beauty. Most alive, most photographically spectacular. The landscapes sear into memory, mountain vistas, Glacier faces ice formations, wildlife encounters. This is why people travel to the end of the world. The dry valleys. In a continent covered by ice, the dry valleys stand as improbable exception, ice-free valleys where no snow has fallen for millions of years. These valleys, near McMurdo Sound, are among Earth's driest, coldest, most Mars-like environments. The valleys remain ice-free because of unique conditions. Katabatic winds, gravity-driven winds flowing from the ice sheet, blast through the valleys at over 300 kilometers per hour. These winds evaporate any moisture before it can accumulate as ice or snow. The landscape is barren rock and gravel, colored in reds and browns from oxidized minerals. The scale is vast. Valleys dozens of kilometers long, mountains rising sharply from valley floors. Everything utterly sterile. This is as close to alien landscape as Earth offers. Yet life persists. Cryptoendolithic bacteria live inside rock pores, protected from extreme conditions, photosynthesizing through translucent minerals. This is nature reduced to essentials. Rock, wind, cold, and nothingness. The Ross Ice Shelf. The Ross Ice Shelf is the world's largest body of floating ice. Roughly the size of France. With an area of 487,000 square kilometers. This ice shelf floats on the Ross Sea, fed by glaciers flowing from the West Antarctic ice sheet. The shelf's edge, called the Ross Ice Shelf Front, rises up to 50 meters above. Water, a vertical cliff of ice extending for hundreds of kilometers. Standing before this wall of ice, you're facing something that shouldn't exist by normal logic. A floating island of ice thicker than a 10-story building is tall. Supply routes to the South Pole cross the shelf. Research projects drill through the shelf to access the ocean beneath, discovering ecosystems in darkness that survive on chemicals and settling organic matter. The emperor penguin colonies. Emperor penguins breed on sea ice during Antarctic winter, the harshest environment for reproduction on Earth. These meter-tall birds endure temperatures below -40. Winds over 150 kilometers per hour, and months of darkness to raise their chicks. Reaching an emperor colony requires specialized expedition, usually by helicopter or icebreaker to remote sea ice locations. The colonies are spectacular, thousands of penguins huddled together for warmth, standing stoically through blizzards. The breeding cycle is precisely timed. Emperors arrive at colonies in March as winter begins. Females lay a single egg, then depart for the ocean to feed, leaving males to incubate eggs through the darkest, coldest months. Males balance eggs on their feet covered by a flap of abdominal skin, while fasting for over 2 months. The penguin that epitomizes Antarctic resilience may be among its first climate casualties. Beneath the ice, subglacial lakes. Beneath Antarctica's ice sheet lie over 400 subglacial lakes. Bodies of liquid water trapped between ice and bedrock, isolated from the surface world for millions of years. These lakes exist because of immense pressure from overlying ice and geothermal heat from Earth's interior. Lake Vostok is the largest, discovered beneath Russia's Vostok Station. This lake measures 250 kilometers long and 50 kilometers wide. With depths exceeding 1,000 meters. It's been sealed beneath 4 kilometers of ice for at least 15 million years. The lake represents a unique ecosystem. If life exists there, it has evolved in complete isolation, in darkness, under enormous pressure. Increased meltwater on the surface percolates down, potentially reaching and altering these ancient lakes. We may contaminate them not through direct access, but through climate change. An indirect, uncontrolled contamination is far worse than careful scientific sampling. The hidden mountains. Beneath Antarctica's ice sheet lies a landscape we've never seen. Mountains, valleys, canyons, all buried under kilometers of ice. This hidden topography influences ice flow, determines where subglacial lakes form, and affects how the ice sheet will respond to warming. The Gamburtsev Mountains, discovered through ice-penetrating radar, rise to nearly 3,000 meters elevation. Hidden completely beneath the East Antarctic ice sheet. These mountains shouldn't exist. Geological models suggest they should have eroded away millions of years ago. Their persistence is a mystery. Some scientists propose that the ice sheet itself preserved them, protecting rock from weathering. Others suggest tectonic activity continually uplifts the range. Conversely, if ice sheets collapse, this hidden topography will determine what replaces them. Ocean, islands, or new landscapes exposed for the first time in millions of years. Life in extreme cold. Antarctic marine life thrives in water that hovers around minus 1.8 degrees Celsius, seawater's freezing point. Fish swimming in these waters should freeze solid. they survive through remarkable adaptations. Antarctic fish produce antifreeze proteins, molecules that prevent ice crystal formation in blood and tissues. These proteins bind to ice crystals as they form, preventing their growth. The discovery of antifreeze proteins revolutionized cold tolerance science. And has applications from organ preservation to food industry. Some Antarctic fish have lost hemoglobin and myoglobin, the proteins that make blood red in most vertebrates. Some Antarctic fish have lost hemoglobin and myoglobin, the proteins that make blood red in most vertebrates. These ice fish have clear blood and pale white tissue. These organisms demonstrate life's extraordinary adaptability. Antarctica isn't a sterile desert, it's a functioning ecosystem where life has found ways to persist despite conditions that seem incompatible with biology. The lesson is humbling. Life is far more resilient, more creative, more persistent than we imagine. The Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean, circling Antarctica, is Earth's wildest ocean. A band of water where no land interrupts the westerly winds that drive waves to enormous heights. The Antarctic circumpolar current flowing through this ocean is the world's most powerful ocean current, moving 100 times more water than the Amazon River. This ocean is incredibly productive. Cold water upwelling brings nutrients from deep ocean to surface, fueling phytoplankton blooms that support the entire Antarctic food web. The productivity rivals tropical rainforests, though it occurs in a much shorter season. The data is sobering. The Southern Ocean is absorbing enormous amounts of heat and carbon, buffering atmospheric changes but at tremendous cost to marine ecosystems. How long this buffering can continue, and what happens when the ocean's capacity to absorb heat and carbon is exceeded, remains uncertain. Human impact and climate change, the Antarctic Treaty. In 1959, 12 nations signed the Antarctic Treaty. Designating Antarctica for peace and science. The treaty prohibits military activity. Mineral mining, nuclear testing, and nuclear waste disposal. It requires that scientific observations and results be shared freely. The treaty is remarkable for what it prevents. During the height of the Cold War, rival superpowers agreed to leave one continent untouched by military competition. No nation owns Antarctica, though 7 countries maintain territorial claims that the treaty neither recognizes nor disputes. It simply sets them aside. Despite challenges, the Antarctic Treaty remains one of history's most successful international agreements. It demonstrates that nations can cooperate for common good, setting aside narrow interests for broader benefits. In a world of increasing conflict and competition, Antarctica stands as proof that different approaches are possible. Tourism's footprint. Antarctic tourism has exploded. What began as a handful of adventurers on expedition ships has become an industry bringing tens of thousands of visitors annually. The economic benefits are significant. Tourism supports local economies in South America and employs thousands. But the environmental costs are concerning. Tourist ships burn bunker fuel. Heavy polluting petroleum that releases black carbon. This carbon settles on snow and ice, darkening surfaces that then absorb more heat and melt faster. The contribution to melting is measurable, though small compared to global emissions. Landings concentrate visitors at a limited number of sites. Tourists who understand their impact can make informed choices. Selecting operators with strong environmental policies, offsetting emissions, supporting conservation organizations, advocating for Antarctic protection. The alternative: tourism continuing unchecked, growing exponentially. Prioritizing profit over preservation would be catastrophic. Antarctica deserves better. So do the people who will inherit the planet we're shaping through our choices today.